I'm the program manager and senior programmer for Panorama. And I want to remind you all, if you haven't heard it before, how special you are, because you are the biggest audience of the festival, the biggest jury of the festival, and it is your duty to vote for the Panorama Audience Award. So please don't forget when you leave to hand in your voting cards to the little boxes outside. That would be much appreciated. I also want to take a moment right now to acknowledge the very hard work of all the producers of this film. So please give a round of applause for the producers. Maybe if there's a spare seat next to you in the middle, you can squeeze in and keep each other tight, because there's going to be some other people that come in later. So if you see a spare seat, I've been asked to ask you to maybe move in a little bit together. But now we're here to celebrate the premiere of Den Stygge Stesøsteren, the ugly stepsister. I know. From Emilie Blichfeldt. Please welcome the director, Emilie Blichfeldt, to the stage. Being here for presenting this film. We are so privileged to be able to share it with this audience. Before we start, maybe you'd like to say a few words.
Yes. Woo! Now I can't see all of you, but I was taking a good look at all of you. Thank you so much for being here tonight, sharing this moment with me and all of the people from the film that are here with me tonight. I would want to start by thanking Berlinale and the programmers for inviting us to Panorama. It's a big honor and a dream come true. This is my debut feature, and it's 8 years since I rediscovered the Brothers Grimm's version of Cinderella. And the horrible scene where the stepsister cuts off her toes to try to fit the impossibly small shoe. And rediscovering this scene, I immediately identified with her. I have shoe size 42. Celebrating today with the extra large shoes. I struggled a lot when I was younger to try to fit within this insanely slim beauty ideal and was living under the burden of feeling ugly. So I was in shock when I rediscovered this character from this world-known fairy tale, this overlooked character, ridiculed, despised, mocked for her trying to fit within this beauty ideal. And I realized I had also mocked her, and this was me. I was the stepsister. There is only one Cinderella. The rest of us struggling to try to fit the shoe are stepsister. And maybe more people here tonight, after seeing the film, will think this of themselves as well. And I welcome you to the club of the stepsisters. I say unleash. This wicked gothic movie upon you. And I've done it with care, so don't be scared. Please enjoy it. But before I unleash this movie upon you, there's a special moment. This is an extra special moment for me tonight, because there is a huge delegation from my film here with me tonight. There's over 70 people in the audience right now. They come from Norway, Denmark, Sweden, France, Poland, and this is our night. because this is the time we're together to celebrate. And it's because of them, it's because of their talent, their hard work, dedication, and trust in little me, that this movie has been possible. So therefore, I want them all to stand up. Please stand up. Some blood into this one. Some blood. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for the film. Everyone,
I'm one of the programmers here, and please join me in giving the warmest welcome back to the stage to writer and director Emilie Blichfeldt.
I would like to present to the stage Lea, who plays Elvira.
Emilie, you talked at the beginning about your inspirations behind the film and turning that sort of the story of the young stepsister on its head. Can you talk a little bit about turning that into a body horror, and at what stage you were interested in using the sort of horror lens, and perhaps any inspirations or that you drew on for this?
So for me it was a body horror from the idea landed in my head. I was like, oh my god, this is a movie I want to make, and it's a body horror. It got me very excited. A few years prior to getting this idea, I'd fallen in love with body horror, and through David Cronenberg. And I really, really love these movies because they are so fun and disgusting. I wasn't a horror fan before I started watching body horror, so it's really my entrance to horror. And I really love how, I think the reason why I connect to it and why I wanted to use it in my film is that being a woman, especially having issues with my body, but being a woman is often a very bodily experience. And although, I think Me Too also really showed us that even the women who we think are mostly intellect and we praise them for what's inside, can even be reduced to a body like this. So, as a woman, seeing body horror and where the mind and the body is connected, we're reminded of our vulnerability and how we cannot escape this person or this gift, you know, but however you look at it, I think it's very powerful.
I'm going to open out to some questions for the audience, but before I do, I just want to ask you about the practical effects, because I think so much of this you did sort of on set. And Lea, I know you were sort of, it's a very physical performance that you gave. Can you talk a little bit about... Congratulations. But perhaps can you talk a little bit about how you approach these practical effects on set? Like particularly, I'm thinking about the getting the tapeworm out, which we will just see. But yeah, how did you go about those?
So it was very important for me that they would be practical, because there's this uncanny realness to it at this just next level, and also for my actors to be able to interact with something physical on stage. But you know, I don't have to give Lea much for her to give me an extraordinary performance. So although we had the pieces where she had like a thing in her mouth, and we pulled it like through, and then we've taken out the parts that comes in, you know. My brilliant editor, Emilie Blichfeldt, she looked through the material, and you know, when Lea starts puking, or Elvira starts puking the worm, she has nothing in her mouth, and I just thought it was so exhilarating to see Lea, you know, just like go on, and I was like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, okay, let's see how far she can pull it. So I pulled her, I just kept the shot much longer than I thought I would use, just because I thought it was so fascinating to look at Lea. And I did this a few times on set, and I really tried to not to take advantage, but it was so fascinating. And then Olivia saw this material, and she was, because this thing in the mouth was quite annoying to act with, although Lea still gave a like amazing performance. But Olivia then saw this material, and then she said, this is what we should use. And she used then from the same angle, like the worm coming out. And I think this is, you know, the magic of movie making. So many great people putting their heads into it, and really. And also Thomas Folberg, who's here tonight. Outstanding, and we had such a fun process together, really making it happen.
Lea, do you have anything to add around that performance and very, very physical performance?
I don't know, it was definitely a big challenge for me getting Elvira there, I think, because it's also a very emotional journey for her, and you know, puking the worm is sort of her final fight until she realizes she's lost, sort of. But maybe she hasn't lost after all, you know. And so the physical aspect of it, mostly for me, was just fun. But then on top of that, adding a bit of emotion and stuff, it's just, yeah, it was very, very fun.
Like the second audition, when Lea came in, you know, she was literally a lizard on the floor in front of me, crawling around, being like, "Me, look what I can do, look what I can do! I'm so strong, I'm so physical, I've been to physical theater training, I'm so ready for this!" So the physical part was never, you know, it was always in Lea's house. And I was really like thinking, who is this girl? You know, she's a gift. I can't believe she's real.
Thank you.
You've got questions out there. Go on, don't be shy. Yes, here in the third row. Just wait while the mic comes to you.
First of all, congratulations, like, incredible. I just wanted to ask, maybe the director or the producer, it's an incredible team from so many European countries, and Berlinale is like one of the best, biggest festivals. Like, do you think the film industry is starting to become very Eurocentric?
Very Eurocentric. I'm not sure. I think it's a good thing that the film industry, if it's turning very Eurocentric, I'm not sure it is, but if it is, I think actually we're at kind of like a crossroad now with the film industry where after the pandemic, where the big streaming services got a really like hold of the film industry, I must say, I think it's turning a little bit back. We're at a point where it's possible to make it Eurocentric by taking the ownership back to us, that we can define what kind of films we want to make without anybody else, and with the freedom and independence that I think is really important to be able to make these kinds of films and make art. So if it's turning Eurocentric, I think it's a good thing, and we could never make this film without it being a Polish, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian film together, where we all pulled in the same direction. Because it was such an amazing experience to see the film tonight together with you, and it really gave me like the faith that cinema is like, it's the thing. You know, people are fed up with seeing stuff on their little screen and the content just coming. They want to have a communal, big, raw experience together, which we had tonight. So thank you all.
Yes, just here. Oh, it's coming from this side.
Thank you, Ms. Blichfeldt. My question goes out to you. Was there any particular moment in which you connected this kind of very topical thing of self-acceptance and comparing yourself to others, being perceived by others, to the source material, to the grim source material? Was there any particular moment where you thought, oh, this is how I want to do this?
And so I've been working with the female characters that struggle with body image through my shorts, and it was in one of like a creative nap. I do some of those. You should do too. And I had read the Brothers Grimm as a child, I was working with this character. She was 2 meters tall, a bit chubby, and she was very in love with her teacher. And then she dreamt that she was Cinderella and fit the shoe perfectly. He picked her up on the horse like she weighed nothing, and then they rode off. But then she looked down and saw that her shoe was full of blood. And she realized, of course I'm not Cinderella, I'm the stepsister. And that's how I realized that I was the stepsister. And I woke up from this great nap and just thought, bingo! That's a movie, and that's something I hope people will go watch, and that's a truth we haven't seen in a place that's been visible to all of us somehow, you know? And I thought that was just a very special place, and that's also when I already knew it was a body horror, because it was all about the blood and the shit. So that for me was that moment, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh yes, sorry, you've got to run all the way to the back. That's it.
Yeah, the sound design and score in this film was absolutely incredible. Can you tell us about specifically the score and the decision to add in more of us modern elements and how you balance that with the quote-unquote classical elements?
Yeah, great question. Thank you so much. So the tone of this movie has been a big part of my work, you know, realism to the fairy tale. And I always knew that I wanted to put it in this gritty, grim universe, you know, as a contrast to Disney. But I wanted this once upon a time feeling, this timeless feeling. I wanted to hack the fairy tale feeling. So for it not to end up as a costume drama, you know, in the 1800s, I kind of sent it through this 70s lens to obscure our look upon the old times, you know, to give this timeless feeling. And that's where the score, the more classical score came from. But then in editing, and Koda, my composer on that, you know, is great with those sounds. But then when we were seeing it with test audiences in editing, both me and my editor, Olivia, we had this feeling that, there was something a bit like narrow with the film. It seemed a bit like or pastiche. It was just like someone making or wanting to make a 70s movie. And that's not really what we wanted to do. And there was like no room between the screen and the film itself somehow, you know. There was no real feeling that the author knew what she was doing, or hopefully. And so we had this feeling that we need something modern, we need something that reminds us that it's actually also from our time. It's someone from our time sending us this, and somehow in that knowledge that you're aware of me on screen, there's also room for you guys. And so that's when we started to look for a more contemporary track. And the day after this idea came, we found this amazing record by Vilje Tuve, a Norwegian composer. And it just fit the movie perfectly, you know, balancing irony and sincerity, hard with the soft. And we just fell in love with it. And she came on and composed together with Koda, and then Tormod and Marius and I really worked to combine these two expressions. And I'm very, very happy you like it, because it was a lot of work. But thank you.
Got time for maybe one more question. Yes, here in the middle. It'll be worth it.
Hopefully. Thank you. It was so much fun and so entertaining, and I emphasized a lot with Elvira. And my friend here and I were thinking, you know, the whole time we were talking like, he will marry Alma. Or like we were thinking about some alternative version of an ending. And I wanted to ask you, like, did you think to give it another ending, or was it always like your idea that you will follow the story of Cinderella, but from the point of view of their like sister? Because we wanted some justice for Elvira in the end, you know.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thoughtful questions. In the beginning, you know, I really wanted for her to get the prince. You know, I also wanted justice. But then again, you know, is it for everyone to marry the prince? Is that really what we all should, you know, hope for, strive for? Is that really the biggest prize you can get in life? To marry a handsome man that will fuck you until you bury boys, you know? Maybe we should. So I decided, you know, it was not true. It's not true that she gets the prince, you know. It's not the truth for us stepsisters. That's what happens to us in the end. And maybe those of us who don't get the tapeworm out, you know, some of them have gotten some princess up these days, you know. But I didn't think it was true, and I didn't think it was right. Cinderella and the prince are made for each other. And then I needed a new ending for Elvira, and for me it was getting rid of the worm, of course, after giving up the dream. And also, you know, not doing it alone. I didn't think she was in a place where she could be so wise somehow to just get rid of the prince like this, right? So she needed Alma. And I think we all need Almas when we struggle with body issues. And I've had my Alma. I've had my Almas that mean a lot to me, and I think it's very important that we don't think that we should be so strong and so powerful, and to think that this is a struggle that we have on our own, because when you struggle with your body, it feels very private, and it feels like your struggle, but it is actually a struggle we have to fight together, and we're not alone in this, because, yeah.